stagnated, pretty well filled with all sorts of parasites, cysts, and other generally nasty things that could greatly impact your well-being and health. This is just small part of the dog days of summer, as you can see from the really disgusting puddle in this nearly dried up creek. Quite stagnated. Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad to see you on this very hot, muggy day. Today we're going to talk about the dog days of summer and what that actually may entail. I mean, what does it mean to you? Out here in West Virginia, around the first week of July, typically when dog days set in, and that's pretty much just denoting a time of the season here where there's a lack of rainfall and we have issues with drought. Our water table drops significantly. In a lot of places, the water stops properly flowing, and that leads to stagnation. And that in the very warm water temperatures is very good for things like parasites, diseases, cysts, protozoan. All those things are at full flourish. So that usually the water is very well contaminated with these things, and including obviously bacteria and virus. So what it could definitely mean for anybody who has that same, it's not really even a phenomenon, it's pretty much an every year thing. It's been, time immemorial here in this state. But, recognizing that it is a thing and how to properly treat water and, being around natural water like lakes, streams, creeks, aquifers, you name it. It's taken into consideration that this time of year the water is really unsafe, especially for drinking, and it can be actually dangerous in of itself if you're washing your body with it. And yeah, I remember when I was a child, my parents would always warn me during the summer months when dog days set in, if I had any cuts or deep scratches, not to go into the water. Well, I didn't understand, the principle behind that when I was really young. But it didn't take long, for everybody to explain it to me and me to figure it out. There is a pretty good chance that most wounds, if you go into these stagnated areas of water, and it may not just necessarily be small puddles of stagnated water, they can be even in the rivers. It's just there's a lack of flow, a lack of fresh rainwater, and it is an absolute perfect breeding ground for the previous mentioned like I said, viruses, cysts, protozoan, bacteria, fungus, algae, you name it. It's there. So what we want to focus on now, assuming that there's obviously some people here that are watching it may not know or maybe want some ideas on how to deal with this issue. So that's kind of what we're going to head and get down into. Quite a disgusting sheen on top, which looks like quite a bit of an oily substance, which denotes, being that there's no chance of any oils actually getting into the water, that is bacteria. So to drink from this water source without properly cleaning it, filtering it, and boiling it, depending on what your options are, be quite dangerous. Quite often, prevention is usually your best method. Like I said, don't go into these bodies of water unless absolutely you have to. And like I said, you got to be real careful, even just cleaning yourself. You wash your hands in a creek, then you touch your face, your eyes, you get any of that in your mouth, your nose, your ears, eyes. You can, there's a good chance of some type of contamination, and some are very, very dangerous, some far worse than others, but no one even wants to be sick. And since we tend to focus on the survival, prepper, and bushcraft aspects of things on this channel, that's really important because you don't want to get yourself down, especially if you are in a survival situation. So what we got to focus on is our preventive measures. Like I said, something as simple if you're going to be working around this stuff and you need to get the water, if you're lucky enough to have disinfectants of some kind just for your hands, that's great. Like I said, the sanitation wipes, some variety, whether it be a baby wipe or wet ones, uh, hand sanitizer. Even in the very small containers, just having a little bit of that to get on your hands while you're handling water, getting ready to process it. Now then, we'll go over some basic, easy to actually acquire things to get to help you treat water, assuming you're gathering said water for consumption. This here is a classic. Just your standard Clorox bleach. Now, how this will typically work, you can use this a good bit like you get your water purifying tablets. This works in a similar vein. You need 16 drops of this unscented bleach in 1 liter of water. You let that set 30 to 40 minutes, and then it should pasteurize the water and kill, the bacteria, cysts, viruses, and anything that could potentially make you sick, parasites. This option here gives you a lot of flexibility because it's a multi-purpose thing, obviously for other sanitation reasons, depending on how intense or diluted you make your bleach. And you by no means need to get the gallon-sized jugs. They got much smaller jugs, would be more convenient to carry, or you can find another vessel, keep that in your pack, whether it be your bug out bag, go bag, or your daily carry bag, whatever the case may be. Having access to this is actually very, very nice. And it's simple, easy to use. And I know the question comes around like, well, how am I going to get drops? Well, the easiest way to do that I've found, if you can get a small diameter string, you can carry that intentionally, or you could literally tie it around the bottle, or in this case, the handle itself. Just a couple inches of string. You dip it down in the bleach, you pull it out, and it's going to drip off that string. Or in a pinch, if you don't got that, take your knife, whittle out some wood, and just pull you off. Well, a longer piece would definitely be better, but a small sliver, same process. Fill this cap here full of bleach, dip this down in here and let it set for a little bit, soak up that bleach and get good and wet, pull it out, drip, drip, drip off the tip of that. So, just food for thought there. Another very popular option, and these things are fairly effective. We got these water filtration systems now that just about anybody can go to the store, buy or order. There's multiple types, and right now they've been around long enough that there's a pretty select group of these that have built up a good reputation. This is one of the very common ones. This is the standard original Life Straw. It's still in the package because I have not used it, and it'll help keep this thing sanitary and clean. So apologies for not having one out of the package to show you guys. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Life Straw before. Now this is a pretty good option because it's pretty easy to fit this into a pack, and like I said, their reputation is pretty good. Now, like I said, there's a lot of options out there, and one of the ones that I originally went with, and the main reason too, was for its vast capacity. I've got quite a few of these. I got, like I said, mainly because they got a good rep. Although these you have to be careful in cold weather. That is a fact. But typically these will stay in the house, and these are just kind of set around for that kind of more prepper thing, because of, like I said, the vast quantity of 100,000 gallons of filtration from these is pretty nice. And most of these, they come with a small bag, the syringe, and you can backwash with the clean water, backwash these out, and they're good for 100,000 gallons. And they are small enough you can forego the packaging, obviously, which would greatly reduce the footprint of this little kit, and put this in like a sealed bag, heavy duty Ziploc bag or something of that nature, whatever you got handy to put in your pack. Pretty good option that'll last for a very long time. Like I said, just got to be very cautious about having this out during freezing and below freezing temperatures, because it can damage the elements inside this thing. And if it does that, then it's no longer viable to filter your water. Now, two, I would also really like to make a point here. There's a big difference between purifying water and then just simply treating the water to make it safe to drink, where you sanitize the water. And a lot of places in the world, and it's actually quite prevalent here in the United States, a lot of water sources are contaminated with chemicals and heavy metals. Now, of course, you always say, well, you know what, I'm going to die of hydration long before I have issues from that. Fair enough. If you're in a life and death situation where maybe drinking some waters that have those particular pollutants in it, you have to, or you're going to die. I get it. It's understandable, especially if you have no means to properly filter and treat that water. And filtration systems that can actually remove a lot of those harmful chemicals and heavy metals are, they're a little bit more different than just these standard ones here that work on, like I said, microbes, parasites, cysts, viruses, and bacteria. Do your research on that, because I'm not going to tell everybody, this brand, do this, get that. Do your own research, see what you can find that fits your needs. But I do recommend getting at least one or two high capacity filters that can also remove these other dangerous substances from your water, especially if you're going to consume it. Just food for thought. But we'll get to one of my favorite options, and that is solely for its size. I believe this there I get off of Amazon. It's a Hydro Blue filtration pen. Now, this little guy is pretty simple. It does come with a replacement filter down here for it, just as is. When you take it out of the box, it's already set up to go. This will last you for 50 gallons, but you can get a replacement end filter here. It comes with it. If you can carry that with you in a very small bag that seals, that way it doesn't get dirty or contaminated, that's this very small package for 100 gallons of safe drinking water. And they also claim on the packaging that this actually removes some, quote, air quote, some chemicals and metals from the water. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to do a whole lot of that, but, a little bit's nice. And this little guy here is it's light. I mean, I wish I'd brought the package, tell me how many ounces it is. If it weighs an ounce, maybe two at the most, it's super light. And it's literally got a clip on it like a pen. So, if you were so inclined, if you had to go out and you want to travel really light, you can literally just put that in a pocket, clip it in. You simply pop this open, and you would put this down into the drinking source, and I can pop this cap off. I think it's pretty stiff here. Oh, there we go. And that's the end that you draw the water out of. Now, two, like I said, this is where the caution comes in, handling that water. When you're getting down in there, you say like this, when you about have to lay on your stomach to use it, if you're getting down to a creek or something, be careful. Don't get yourself, if you can keep from it, covered in that stagnated, nasty water. That's bad business. This would have been better if you can't get something that would clip onto that, like a lengthened straw or something like that. Would be so nice, like a little rubber hose. Maybe something you could roll up and just stuff in your pocket. That way you kept a man from having to get down there into the stuff. But you're handling this water, and the stuff gets on your hands and on your body. And like I said, you just not thinking, you got that little itch every time you usually got dirty hands. I don't know if anybody else is the same. Oh, my eye itch. And if you introduce water from a contaminated source and your eye gets in the membrane inside your nose, and in your mouth and even in your ears. Like I said, now we're talking dog days. Also, the open cuts and wounds, scratches. You could have some health issues from that, and it could actually infect you with the parasites and such. So try to use extreme caution. Like I said, now we're running under the scenario that you know we're in a survival kind of situation, whether it be the prepper STHIT hit the fan, uh, or it's just that you got lost and your life's on the line because it's the dead heat of summer and you're looking at 3 days at best before you die heat dehydration. Just having this little guy right here, and I dropped him. Pardon me, guys. Uh, Having this little thing here, it's so light and easy to carry. This would be my main suggestion. Something, you don't have to be this brand, just something small and simple like this. 50 gallons of water will last you a while. And like I say, if you don't got a device to put water in, like a cup of measurements and stuff to know how much you get, they're not super expensive. I say you use this and it got you out of your situation and you're not sure how much you drank. You drank a lot. You was out there for several days. If you're unsure, toss it and buy a new one, because that's what these devices and tools we do carry are about. Like I said, I hate wasting money myself, but if you're unsure about something that is this important, hey, buy a new one if you got to. Even the Sawyer filters aren't super expensive. I don't know what they are right now, but when I was buying these, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 just for this basic, the original one they came out with. And this one here, I'm thinking is around $12, $14 at the high end. But keep that in mind for your own safety. All right, everybody. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention pre-filtering your water if you can. Having a bandana, a schmog, or in my case, I carry these very long strips of 100% cotton. Pre-filtering your water really helps as it gets a lot of turbidity out of the water if you're putting in it, especially you got like a canteen or a bottle. No, this will help keep a lot of the gritty stuff, dirt, sand, really tiny pieces of gravel and the like, sticks, leaves, that out of your water. And that will not only help your body out, not consuming that stuff, but if you are actually using a filtration system, pre-filtering that water is also helpful for it, because that's a lot less work it'll have to do. Now, a lot of these, like I said, you're putting this into a source down there's masses of dead organic stuff in there, like leaves, sticks. I mean, it's like a quagmire of stuff. That's a tall order even for some of these good filters. Right now, I do not have one, but popular is the Grail system, and I do like that. They're expensive, but these things are, from what I can tell from a lot of research I've done, they've really earned their reputation. Highly functional piece of kit. And if I had the means to get it, it's like one of them deals. We go budget when we have to, but if you can save up for something that's real important. I mean, we're talking water, and water is life. And if anybody can get something like maybe the Grail with the titanium, the cup bottom, that one I really like, because that also gives you the option to boil. Let's say for some reason you either ran out of filters, it stopped working, or an accident happened and it broke. If you're still left with that titanium cup, and you know how to make your fires, that could save your life. I mean, there's no question about it. So, dog days of summer, I'm sure a lot of other states have the same effect that goes on. I'm assuming it's pretty well known by that name. But just remember, most places, especially I'm talking mostly where I know what I'm talking about here in the U.S., the summertime with all the heat, the drought, lack of rain, and the water not flowing, and fresh water being put back into the sources, there's a stagnation that happens. And it's, like I said, all this stuff adds up. And by the time you get around the end of July, coming into August, It's pretty nasty. I mean, all that stuff has had a chance to putrefy. All these viruses, bacteria, protozoas, cysts, all that stuff has had time to flourish and bloom. And that's another reason, like a lot of times, like with catching fish during dog days of summer, and I was always told, don't go fishing, don't eat the fish. Well, that's because all the parasites are pretty well fully active. The fish are full of them, and you'll often, I know, a lot of people have done it. They went ahead and done it anyway. Start skinning your fish, and they found worms all throughout the fish meat. So that's a pretty serious issue. You don't want to get yourself into if possible. So that's why it's really good to take all the precautions necessary, whether we're preparing for bad times ahead or catastrophic natural disaster, to have your water above all else in line, whether it's storing water in containers, using methods to prolong the storage life of said water, filtration and treatment of contaminated water sources. And during the dog days of summer, in my mind, I don't care. It's all contaminated in my mind. Just knowing what I know about how that whole weather system works and the water and all that works with it. Dog days of summer, if it's stream, river, creek, whatever, I don't care if it's coming out of a spring out the side of the hill, I'm treating it as contaminated water, not taking a chance. So everybody be careful. Do a little bit extra research, find out what you need for your area, because your environmental conditions are completely different. We got deserts, we got, far up or north, temperatures are different, humidity is different. Figure out where you're at, what you need, and above all else, make sure your guys' water situation's taken care of. With that, thank you all very kindly for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon, and I'll see you all in another video.